Combined meeting of the Pine-Richland School Board for December 11th to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'd like to ask our solicitor, Mr. Patrick Clare, to administer the oath to one of our newest board members, Dr. Carla Meyer, who was unable to join us at our reorganization meeting last week.
As everyone's aware, I received a copy of the certificate of election from Allegheny County, attesting to your election to the office of school director. So now we have to do tell us where you go. Okay. You have to learn.
It's all very relaxing when you're just watching.
Let me do it over here. Better to the right hand. I'll recite the oath that you repeated after.
I'm right in it.
I, Pat Clare.
I, Carla Meyer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of this Commonwealth,
and of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Williams, I'll have a signed oath for you to file with the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Meyer, and although you missed Mr. Clare's espousal of Jeffersonian ideals, etc., it is a solemn oath, and we thank you for stepping forward and glad to work with you. Ms. Williams, roll call.
Mr. Lyons.
Here.
Ms. Mizbach. Here. Mr. Kashani. Dr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DiTullio.
Here.
Ms. Goebel. Here. Dr. Meyer.
Here.
Mr. Moy.
Here.
Thank you.
Item 1.02 is recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board, they may do so at this time. Item 1.03 is correspondence. Ms. Williams?
Mrs. Sullivan contacted the board regarding yearbook.
And item 1.04 is student recognition. Ms. Hathorn?
Thank you. I'm going to first start with student and staff recognition and then move into retiree recognition tonight. First up, we have A.W. Beatty naming several Pine-Richland High School students as Students of the Month through the end of November. They include senior Susan Bullington for Advanced Computer Programming, Senior Luke Arnold for Auto Collision Technology, Junior Joshua Swanson for Emergency Response Technology, Senior Gregory Oliver for Heating and Ventilation and Air Conditioning, Sophomore Annalie Demetris for Pastry Arts, and sophomore Carolyn Curry for Sports Medicine, Rehab Therapy, and Exercise Science. The Pittsburgh Rotary awarded senior Matthew Zirkle with the Student of Distinction Award, and he is a member of the Junior Air Force GRTC program, and the Rotary recognizes students who demonstrate a willingness to help others and who are active contributors in their community. So congratulations. Also, a big congratulations to the Pine-Richland High School football team, which earned the state championship title. They beat St. Joe's this weekend, 41-21 in Hershey, PA on Saturday. Quite a game and quite an outstanding season with no losses. Again, congratulations to the team and coaches. Also, we learned today that quarterback Phil Jakovic was named the Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year, so that's a big honor. Pine-Richland High School teacher Matthew Roberts earned the University of Chicago Outstanding Educator Award, and 2017 Pine-Richland High School graduate Noah Adams, who is attending the University of Chicago, nominated Roberts for this award, and he specifically thanked Mr. Roberts for his mentorship in coursework and also the global relations club. So that's an honor as well. Tonight, we also have a retiree here. We have two retirees retiring in December and January, and together they logged more than 29 years with the district. Eden Hall Upper Elementary School Guidance Secretary Margie Becker has been working in the guidance department office as a secretary, where she not only oversees attendance but student records. And she's been with the district since 2003. Prior, she worked at the high school as an attendance secretary and briefly worked as a room monitor in 2004 as the at the Pine-Richland Middle School, and briefly as a custodian in 2003. And those, when I talked to her colleagues, they had nothing but good things to say, of course, but they really specifically say she was always willing to help others, and she always had that calm presence, especially around the students, no matter what the situation, and she really cares for the children, especially children that needed help. So we're going to extremely miss her, and her big plans in retirement is to bake a little more, work on some remodeling projects, and, you know, just spend some good old-fashioned time with her grandchildren, her husband, and her children. And her husband's here tonight, Chuck. So and also, we have some of the Eden Hall, Mr. Smith, principal, and Tara Brandt, secretary, and also, yes. So, you know, we want to give you a small gift of our big appreciation for all of you've done. And if you wouldn't mind stepping over there, Dr. Miller has something for you.
Thank you for your many years of service.
Dude, Tara leaning. That's funny. Jason's like, forget this, I'm over here.
Thank you again for your service. We also want to thank custodian and groundskeeper John Harford, who has served 15 years as a dedicated employee. While he couldn't be here, we wanted to share our appreciation of the many years of his service. He was mainly responsible for the athletic fields, and as you know, they're impeccable, and we really appreciate you, Ms. Becker, and also Mr. Harford. So thank you.
Just one additional comment at this time instead of later. In addition to the football team, it was another opportunity for our marching band to perform. And everywhere we have gone, whether it's a competition or an adjudication or some other event, to see 250 Pine-Richland band members on the sideline go onto the field. They performed the entire halftime, did multiple aspects of their show. It is truly remarkable. And everyone that I have ever seen within and outside of our community, when they think of our marching band, it evokes pride and good feelings about what the kids do, how they do it. Our band directors are tremendous individuals, and the whole thing is a class act. So congratulations also to our marching band.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Item 1.05 is a motion to approve the meeting minutes as attached. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1.06 is an information item regarding the board committees. It's the 2018 board committees. I just wanted to make a few comments here. The committees were developed based on input from all the board members, new and existing, and in consultation with board leadership, administration, with the intention really of sharing leadership opportunities and developing the knowledge of our team of 10. The committees are not intended to be silos independent from the board or of knowledge or power. They're really there to make sure that we have people who develop some expertise in each area and are willing to come to meetings and take a deeper dive on issues as that topic requires. So it's a requirement that we have them, not by our choice, right? So that we can dive down and have committee meetings that can take deeper looks at things. They are no way exclusive, so all members should feel free and are encouraged to attend all committee meetings, absolutely. So I just wanted to throw that out there as an understanding. It's really an opportunity to develop knowledge and spread leadership opportunities throughout the board. All right, item 2.01, the strategic plan update. Dr. Miller.
Okay, this is a strategic plan update about strategic plan updates. So this was designed, you can close that. This was designed really to explain how and why this component of the agenda developed the last couple of years. The strategic plan right now is a 4-year time horizon. That's the long view. The short view is we look at it annually, and we have very clearly identified the major areas of focus for each year. With that process, when the strategic plan was developed, the focus right from the beginning was on deployment, action, implementation. The best plan in the world that is either on a shelf or on a website and not implemented is not going to make an impact. I can say with 100% certainty and with all the confidence in the world, there is not a public school district that I have seen or heard about that is using their strategic plan to drive action as well as we are. It is a significant area of strength for us. As we have continued to refine that annually, we look at all the initiatives that are scheduled for work in a given year, and we lift up out of that what we call key initiatives. These are the most impactful areas of focus that have been determined for the next year. Impactful because they're related to students directly, or they might involve a significant number of staff members, or it might have a significant financial impact on the district. And as a part of our annual summer retreat work with senior leadership team and with the board, we talk about what are the key initiatives for the next year in order to get consensus with the board on those areas of focus so that as we begin the year, we have some clear targets for our action. Quarterly, we report to the board on those key initiatives. So you saw that in the brief opening and closing of the attachment that we had up on the screen. But we also use the meeting, 1 or 2 meetings a month, based on what's happening in the district, and usually a timely topic, to update the board on that specific area. This is intended, even within the planning or voting meeting, to be some discussion. So when we get to this point, if there are questions or discussion, whoever is connected to that as a point person is more than ready to talk about it, to listen, to answer questions, or to take input back to the work that's happening in the district. So having this update is unique, but more importantly, the work that's happening behind the scenes in the district with parents or with staff members or in various teams is pretty significant. So we're proud to share this. You will see it every time. Length of time will depend on the topic itself, but for new board members, we encourage this not just to be here's an update, but here's an update, and are there any questions or discussion, and let's work through that. So that is the update about why the update will be here.
Thank you. Dr. Campbell, could you take us through the finance section of the agenda, please?
Sure. Item 3.01, financial reports and accounts payable.
Now, should I read all of the public content here with the numbers and everything?
I would just read the recommended action or a summary thereof.
Okay. All right. So, well, the quick summary is there were a lot of checks written and bills paid. So we will make, so I motion to approve the financial reports dated December 11th, 2017, and accounts payable dated December 11th, 2017, in the amount of $624,851.45, and paid accounts for November, December in the amount of $8,583,895.26 as listed. Do I have a second?
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. 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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 3.02, budget transfers. There's an attachment with a list of budget transfers, and I make a motion to approve the budget transfers in the amount of $213,677.98.
Motion's been made and seconded. Greg?
Mr. DiTullio.
Is it? Sorry. Thanks. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 3.03, audited financial statements as of June 30th, 2017. So we received an audit summary and audited financial statements, some rather lengthy documents, and I make a motion to accept receipt of the 2016-2017 independent audit report.
Right. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
I would just add it's a good news report, so thank you to Mrs. Kirk.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
3.04, PRSD Real Estate Tax Collector Audit. So we've received an audit from both the townships of Pine and Richland Township, and there's an attachment in the minutes, and so I make a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pine-Richland School District Tax Collector Real Estate and Per Capita Tax Audit for the year end June 30th, 2017.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Item 3.05, review of Finance Committee meeting. So prior to this meeting tonight, we had a Finance Committee meeting that include the topics of the review of the audited financial statements, bond market update, and the 2018-2019 general fund budget. Ms. Kirk, would you give us a summary of the actions of that meeting?
Our auditors were here to present this evening from Hozak, Beck, Mutzel, and Wood. We do have our audited financial statements, and we are in a strong financial position from 2016-2017. We typically have 3 documents as part of the audited financial statements. The statements themselves, there is a letter of governance specifically to the school board, and then typically there is a management letter that is issued. A management letter would include any potential recommendations or comments for improvement. They did not issue a management letter for this year, so that's a good reflection on our district. For the bond market update, Mr. Masidi was here from PNC Capital Markets. He did provide not only kind of a general overview of the debt portfolio for the school district, but also a review of the current bond market and a discussion on the proposed tax changes at the federal level and how that's affecting the bond market overall. We do have a few refunding candidates for some of our bond issues that he will continue to monitor. There's one that is currently in a current refunding status, but the savings is not significant enough to move forward at this time. We will likely have him back in February of 2018 to provide another update and see if the savings is worth it, really, at that point. For the 2018-2019 general fund budget, we did review kind of an overall very preliminary document. At this point in time, it's based on trends and assumptions. It will be the administration's recommendation for the Act 1 resolution in January at the January meeting. That would basically indicate that the school district is not planning on passing a tax increase that would exceed 2.4%, that would allow for a tax increase to either be 0, 2.4%, or anywhere in between. Again, there will be a further updated, detailed document at the February Finance Committee meeting at that time.
All right, thank you very much. The last item on the agenda, 3.06, the reminder of potential Finance Committee meetings. So dependent upon the board's approval of the 2018 meeting schedule, the following is a list of potential Finance Committee dates. Our first one will be February 19th, 2018, followed by April 16th, 2018, and May 14th, 2018. And we will confirm those dates at the January combined board meeting. And that's for information only, so that is all for the financial report.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. Dr. Meyer, would you take us through the academic achievement agenda?
Yes. First, the item 4.01, donation of 2 HD Canon XA35 video cameras and accessories. I'd like to make a motion to accept in accordance with the board policy number 702, gifts, grants, and donations, and with sincere gratitude, a donation from the Hampson family of 2 HD Canon XA35 video cameras and accessories, 2 tripods, and 2 cases with a value of $4,756.56.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
As a former PRTV member, I'd like to thank the Hampson family for this donation.
It is well appreciated.
I'm sure Mr. Karpinski feels the same way about it.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4.02, curriculum resource review update. I would like to hand this over to Dr. Miller.
And I will quickly hand it over to Dr. Pasquinelli.
Thank you, and I will hand it to Dr. Snell.
No.
So we wanted to provide board and community with an update around the curricular resources that we're looking at for this current school year. So this presentation is, we'll provide everyone with a real quick overview. This slide just shows you an example of an evaluation that we just conducted for chemistry and physical science resources. You can see the number of vendors we had a chance to speak with. They each have about an hour of time to present an overview of their products, and then we have an evaluation team that's looking at a number of different categories to determine the best fit for our district. So we always start with this slide with our committees because it's most important that we talk about the resources that we're selecting, those that are most tightly collected or connected to our curriculum. So when we build our curriculum around that framework, we have our learning goals and our big ideas, so we always say when we start, these resources are not our curriculum, they are resources to support our curriculum. So we want to make sure, as we discuss them, which of those resources are most tightly aligned to those learning goals, and that's part of our evaluation process. This year we are evaluating resources for mathematics in K-5. That's a significant purchase for us as a school district. The nice thing now is we've developed an in-depth program review, so we are in that deep dive with mathematics as we speak. We actually have an expanded team meeting this Wednesday for mathematics, and we're talking about those resources that are going to support the goals of the program review. So it's real nice timing to do that evaluation. This slide just provides you with an overview of why we're thinking about those K-5 math resources. We're also looking at chemistry, AP Physics, and physical science. And again, last year we completed an in-depth program review of our science department, and a lot of these recommendations that you see bulleted on this page come directly out of that program review. So we're in that cycle of program review. The review guides us toward curricular recommendations, in this case, resource modifications. And that's an overview of why we're looking at the different science resources. This is a timeline for our evaluation process. So you see we're in the December to February timeline. Once we go through an in-depth evaluation of the resources, we'll bring a couple of products forward, and we have integrated community and student voice into our evaluation process. So sometime in early March, We'll do an update to the board and to the community so you can see where our top 2 selections are, and we'll put those top 2 selections on display in this room and invite students and community members to provide some input as well. And that really gets the entire community involved as much as they want to in the evaluation process. Probably April, May, we'll be coming forward with a recommendation of the product for math and for science, for each of those science courses that we believe are the best products for our students, and then we put that on a 30-day display, again, for additional community input, and then we would ask the board for a vote for approval for purchase sometime in May. We tie that into our professional development, so at the end of the school year, prior to teachers leaving for summer break, they at least have some exposure to the new resources that we've selected, and then we follow up at the beginning of the school year with another professional development session as they get ready for students to return. This is just kind of another view of the process. The symbol of the funnel goes from a large number of options down to our final recommendation for purchase. You can see in this top bullet here, since 2014-15, the board has supported and the district has really put forth a lot of requests for new resources that they come at an expense, but we can say with confidence that those resources are being used to support our curriculum and support those learning goals for our students, started back in 14-15 with a K-6 purchase of ELA resources. This is just a quick snapshot of what the committees will be doing. So this, they look at these different categories. Within each of those categories are different components that we're looking at for all of these products, and we provide the board and community with a detailed report in terms of why we recommended one over the other. This really guides our decision making, again, along with community and student input. So we are in January going to be looking at the math resources. Quickly, just you can see the core and expanded team members. We look for a representation from across grade levels, across our 3 different K-3 schools, special education teachers, gifted education teachers, administrators, so a lot of different voices in the process of making the evaluation, making the recommendations. And same thing for chemistry, AP physics, and physical science, a list of staff members that will be involved in the recommendation process. And now that we have a vision and philosophy that came out of our in-depth program review, we're putting that up as a reminder, as this is the direction we want to go with our science department and science education at Pine-Richland. So think about that as you're making recommendations for upcoming resources. So that's just a brief overview of what we will be working on in terms of resources this year, and I think in March we have another planned presentation that will really go into depth of the of each of those individual resources.
Thank you, Dr. Fontanelli.
You're welcome.
Finally, subject or item number 4.03, scheduled academic achievement committee meetings. The administration would like to schedule the following academic achievement committee meetings: January 15th, 2018, program of studies; March 5th, 2018, academic resources; and April 30th, 2018, in-depth program review.
Yeah, I would just add, Dr. Meyer, since it's only been about 20 minutes since you've been sworn in, we'll schedule a meeting with you soon so that you get the chance to sit down and work through some background on these areas so that you are prepared as we move into some of these committee meetings. So enjoy the next, day or so before we schedule the other meetings.
Mr. DiTullio, Buildings and Grounds, please.
Item 5.01 is the disposal of the 1994 Ford bucket truck, and I would say that this was just a perfect timing, is what this was. So when the administration, Mr. Zhang in particular, says, hey, we're going to need to replace a roof, I would suggest, based on this, we listen to him. The truck that we were going to sell on consignment, that we were looking for $5,000 on, broke down right before the new truck got here. So transmission went, and somebody's willing to pay $3,500 for it. So a motion to approve the disposal of the 1994 Ford bucket truck to be sold to Boss Towing in Wexford, PA for $3,500 in accordance with policy 622.
Do I have a second?
Second.
quick before something else goes wrong. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed? It's yours. Thanks, Greg. Dr. Campbell, would you take us through student services, please?
Okay, item 6.01, PRHS varsity competition for cheerleaders. There is a proposed upcoming trip that has a cost to the district of $0 because the trip is funded by the Booster Organization of Families. So we are putting forth a motion, I'm putting forth a motion to approve the student attendance and application of the Student Discipline Code for the Pine-Richland cheerleaders to travel to Orlando, Florida from Thursday, February 8th, 2018 after school to Monday, February 12th, 2018 to participate in the National Cheerleading Competition as described on the attached field trip request form. And this team has already qualified for this event. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 6.02, Ski Club, New York. So there is a proposed trip where the cost to the district is $0. There's an estimation of 50 students attending, and the students and their families will pay for the trip. So I make a motion to approve the student attendance and application of the Student Discipline Code for the Pine-Richland High School Ski Club to travel to Ellicottville, New York, in Holiday Valley on Saturday, February 10th, 2018, with a 6 a.m. departure and 9:30 p.m. return to participate in the ski club event as described on the attached field trip request form.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion?
You asked the kid to get up at 6 in the morning to go to school.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 6.03, donation of batting cage. There has been a proposal, or a proposed donation of a batting cage for for Pine-Richland Middle School. There will be some installation required that that our maintenance department will do. We've had similar donations in the past at other schools. The additional cages will provide more flexibility for our baseball and softball teams during the late winter, early spring, and during inclement weather. So I'm putting forth a motion to accept in accordance with board policy number 702 for gifts, grants, and donations, and with sincere gratitude, a donation from the Pine-Richland baseball boosters of an indoor batting cage for the Pine-Richland Middle School at a cost of $3,244.98.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and our last item, 6.04, the PIAA championships. So the old note here, the boys varsity football team qualified for the PIAA state championship. The team played on December 9th at Hershey Park Stadium, Hershey, PA. The marching band, dance team, color guard, and cheerleaders also participated, and as we know now, the outcome of that game was positive. We are now the PIAA state champions for the 6A division. And for some historical context, just as a reminder, when this school opened in 1993. Does anyone know what the record was for that first season? 0-10. And then shortly thereafter, I remember in 1995 we actually had a larger roster on the chess club than the football team, and I would know I was the president of the chess club at the time. And for those first 5 years of the high school, we saw less than 10 wins over those 5 years. So we've come a long way from the 2003 competition for the state championship and the 2014 competition for it to finally, 24 years after moving to this new facility and going from AA in 2003 up through AAA and now 6A. We've had tremendous growth, and we're really proud of our football team for their achievements this season and over the past few decades.
Thanks, Ben. Ms. Goebel, would you take us through staff services, please?
Item 7.01, there's a motion to approve the personnel and supplemental items as attached.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Meyer seconding. Any discussion?
I have one question. I would imagine is this shoe. Oh, and these say they're these are new people, not new positions, correct?
which, are you looking at the supplementals?
Yes, the supplementals.
That's correct. They're not, on the supplemental listing, just for the benefit of all the board members, when it looks at new versus reapproval, when you see the word new, it's that the person in the position is new to that position, not that we have created a new supplemental. If we were to create a new supplemental, that would come separately to the
Separate.
board for approval.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7.02, motion to approve the Assistant Superintendent's 2016-17 performance ratings is listed and the Superintendent's 2016-17 performance rating and 403B contribution is listed.
Do I have a sec? Thank you, Ms. Mizbach. Is there any discussion? I think the dry language doesn't do it justice. The performance, the activity, the forward progress that we're making in our strategic plan. Thank you all very much. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7.03, the motion to approve the student teachers as attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Is this just a run on Slippery Rock student teachers right now, or, because typically we'll see multiple?
It just so happens about the timing and the positions that are being sought. The universities that we have affiliation agreements are all aware of, obviously, our scheduling and student teaching processes. It just so happens that Slippery Rock has a group coming through at this time. We do obviously adhere to board policy relative to the number of student teachers permitted in each building and through each department throughout that time. And we do try to vary that to the extent that we can. But to some degree, it is a first come, first serve on those.
Any other discussion?
I have a question. Oh, and what other universities and colleges have you actually formalized agreements? I know Slippery Rock, we have a formal agreement.
We have Slippery Rock University, we have Duquesne University, University of Pittsburgh, we have, at one point, I think we had Drexel University brought a student out this way. We had also, La Roche.
Probably a dozen.
And
yeah.
I don't
But you have
believe, and
agreements
Chatham.
with these people? I know we've taken students even from Allegheny, but I was just wondering.
We do.
Right, we have agreements with all these people?
We do.
Okay.
They usually come up on a 5-year cycle for most of those agreements. We had at one point tried to unify those into a single time frame. That has been not as successful as I had hoped.
Bring everyone to the same
Yeah, that's
annual
right,
date?
yeah. So that has not
That would
gone
be
as we
ideal.
planned, but we are still working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
7.04, motion to approve the settlement agreement in the transfer between entities matter involving A.W. Beatty Career Center as attached.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
And item 7.05, it's open for discussion, but the administration is suggesting 2 dates to schedule for staff service committee meetings, first being February 5th and the second being March 19th of 2018.
Thanks, Jenny. Mr. Moy, would you take us through operational services, please?
Sure. Item 801, purchase of end-user services. Motion to approve the purchase of 10 additional laptops from HP in the amount of $14,090 and 10 desktops from HP in the amount of $11,888 for the high school and Eden Hall at a cost of $25,978.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 802, renewal of the system support agreement, Synergy IT. Motion to approve Synerg IT to provide application and server hardware assistance in the amount of $11,200.
Is there any discussion?
What is this agreement based now? They do a lot less for us now, correct?
They do. This agreement is a decrease in services from our last year's agreement. They provide Tier 2 support, meaning there are additional resources to our internal team as needed on an hourly basis for the most part. We've seen a great reduction in the need of outside support over last year. So this reduces the hours. They are a very important member in the support to the district. However, we've seen that less and less hours are required to maintain our systems.
With their diminished role, is there any concern with the level of support we'll get from them when we do need it?
No, they've been available to us. They do have several other support options, which include a help desk and other services that we haven't utilized. We do have support with direct support with depending upon the product. So they're more a general service contract company versus if we had a need specifically with Extreme networking gear, we can reach out to Extreme directly or one of the other many products that we have.
Yeah, just add briefly, in our history, there was a time we were completely in-house with employees for IT. Then we shifted to a period of time where we were completely outsourced. This is a part of the hybrid structure we've been in for the last few years. So as Mr. Stobener shared in a positive way, the reduced need is a reflection of the stability of the infrastructure, which is fantastic news for us. But this is a key part. Some of that specialized support is needed, and it prevents us from needing to staff or outsource a certain part of a position.
I think that reduced need speaks in no small part to your accomplishments, Mr. Stobener. Thank you.
And I've heard from the teachers that the hybrid model is working much better than the previous outsourcing. They're very happy with it.
We have heard from them as well.
Anyway. Any other discussion? All those in favor say yes.
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 Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 803, TriCaster upgrade. Motion to approve the purchase of the NewTek TC1 TriCaster from DVS Direct in the amount of $15,070.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Opportunity to say the word TriCaster?
So I'd like to say the word TriCaster because
Thank you.
Prof did fund a grant the end of last year for a mini TriCaster over at the middle school to help the kind of the gap between Eden Hall and the high school so that they could broadcast between all buildings now. So they've got their club there, and they were, had intention of bringing it into the classroom also. So it was that and cameras and a few other. So I know Mr. Clack was very pleased with that.
Fantastic.
No, we've hit the two main words, actually three if you had yield curve, that's sort of a phrase, but bucket truck.
I get to say that one a lot.
We're there.
Yeah. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 804, managed print service selection in discussion. I'll hand that back to Dr. Miller.
Okay, and one of the approaches that we've taken as we go into major projects, so an example would be in technology, we had two members of the board who participated in a tech leadership council. When we moved into transportation, evaluating that contract and determining services, we had a member of our board participate in that process. We did not use that in our food service process, and in reflection of that, that's something that we felt would be valuable going forward. So this is the last, I shouldn't say last because it's a cycle and we'll begin again, I'm sure, but for now, this is the final contract to reevaluate. And the purpose of it being here tonight is to invite potential interest, a member of the board who might want to participate in some of the planning work. By having the board have a direct voice in the initial work. We believe it helps with communication and clarity around the process that's being followed, and ultimately then that will lead to a recommendation. So the reason it's here today is really to see if there's someone on the board interested. We've heard from one member, but want to open that up for interest.
Oh,
if anyone's
should I restate
interested,
my interest. Well, okay, so the one member you heard from was me. I would be interested in helping with this contract. I actually currently use their services at Robert Morris. I'm familiar with their equipment and services from that aspect, and would like to review the contract.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ben.
All right, perfect.
Item 9.01 is a motion to approve the 2018 Pine-Richland School Board meeting schedule as attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I don't think we've gotten any feedback since we posted this initially at our... All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries.
Could I ask just briefly, we discussed a number of committee meetings tonight.
And I was curious, one of the committee meetings said it would be voted on in January. Was that?
Well, that was in there. I'm just wondering if we could confirm it, I know, right now. Those dates that were discussed for some of those committee meetings earlier, if those on those committees are comfortable, then Ms. Williams can advertise all of that at one time. The committee meetings would begin at 6 o'clock. And they align with these dates.
For finance, should we wait till Mr. Casciani's back since he's the chair of that committee, or without?
We probably should, but no.
We can. My experience with Mark's schedule is that he's 2 months out isn't the problem. It might be next week something comes up, as opposed to because I think these are already out there on finance. How many are non-Mondays?
Those are all connected.
Those are all
starting in February.
This isn't the standalone one, right?
Right.
Let me just Google a conference date real quickly, make sure it doesn't
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a good point, Dr. Kim. I don't think we actually subpoenaed all your Mondays for the next 4 years, so we feel free to grab those.
Okay. I just want to make sure he wouldn't feel upset that we left him out of this decision, since he is the chair.
He would only be upset if we spent too long talking about it.
Okay.
Which we're, by the way, pretty close on the Kashani time clock at this point.
Well, he's not here, so he doesn't have a say.
Yeah, he's lucky he doesn't end up in another committee, so.
Got research, sorry. I'm looking for my...
We can move on, I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to
I think it's fine, I just want to double check.
You are comfortable with the 1 hour committee meetings on?
We will adjust the content accordingly.
I like the 7 o'clock start time though.
We can just talk twice as fast.
That's fine. That works for me.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
With the consent of the board, all the meetings listed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Make an official motion.
We just did by unanimous consent. That was the motion.
Will you be sending out calendar invites for them? Yeah. For all of them? Even if we're not on the committee, you'll send that committee notice? Okay, thank you.
Waiting for your phones to blow up.
It's so we don't give us 5 minutes. So well. Thank you. Item 9.02 is a motion to approve Dr. Carla Meyer as the legislative representative to the Pennsylvania School Board Association.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. We saved this one just for you, Dr. Meyer.
Did you know that this is just one of many that you got appointed to last week?
I know how that works.
It's our, we try to encourage attendance that way, so. And we do appreciate it. All those in favor say yes. Yes?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.03 is a motion to declare a board vacancy for Region 3 with a sad heart due to the passing of Mr. Robert Pavlisek. May I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say yes. Yes. Motion carries. And with that, that opens up the opportunity for us to discuss a date for a special meeting for the purposes of meeting with and voting on candidates for the vacancy.
I thought we scheduled it for January 8th.
We tentatively, in our discussion at the planning, or at the reorg meeting, and looking at the calendar, and given the holidays, and now here we are 1 week closer to Christmas, that was the emerging recommendation. So if there's any discussion, and I have checked with Mr. Kashani on that one, shall we establish January 8th then?
At 7. At 7.
At 7? We have, Greg, the only thing I'll say is we do go to 7:30. Maybe keep this one at 7:30 because we may have people who haven't, depending on their job, 7 might be a challenge.
I'm good with that. I was just asking.
I was going to suggest 6:30.
Yeah, well, that is my concern, though. I like earlier as well.
Well, based on the fact that Dr. Miller said 6:30, would we want to go 7 then? And I appreciate and understand. I mean, everybody's staying after work as well, so here, so.
That's true, and we are announcing it with enough time, right?
Yes. Now, with that, I didn't know if this was for the discussion on 903 or 904, but how are we going to put out and request?
Barb, could you go over? I mean, what we've done in the past typically.
Yeah, we'll put in an advertisement for the special meeting, and we'll have the application process on the website, and with instructions of when the due dates are, and then once we have those applications, we'll send out information to them as to when they're to appear here January 8th at 7 o'clock.
And we also do send an e-blast out to all of our families and also the greater community that signed up to our e-blast. So we have about a total of 10,000 people.
So will we see the resumes or whatever they're sending in prior to?
Yes.
And then when they come here for the interview, how will that work?
There'll be a panel, depends how many people apply for it, but they'll be here and then we'll have questions. You'll have received questions prior to go over it, and however Mr. Lyons says to have that, each person has specific questions, we'll check and we'll vote that night.
So what we've typically done is it is a panel interview. We do not interview one-on-one because it's an open meeting, so really that doesn't have any real meaning here. We rotate. Ms. Williams helps us sort of keep track of that, so we rotate who answers first because you have 4 people answering a question in succession, so depending on your perspective, the person who goes last certainly is answering a different question by then, usually than the person who went first. So we do try to rotate that through. And while just to facilitate the conversation, we have a list of suggested questions typically, board members are certainly free and encouraged to ask whatever questions they have. And I'm just describing what we've done. So we can, it's open for discussion. Once each board member is satisfied and has no remaining questions, we can begin voting. Voting will continue or conclude, better said, when we have 5 votes for one candidate. Nor I. Okay, and the deadline, we would typically, if Jan 8 is the deadline on that Monday,
January 2nd, I have down for submission of applications. And we'll do end of day.
End of day.
5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, noon. We had it at noon the last time. 5 o'clock.
I like 5 o'clock.
Does that create you an issue being January 2nd? That's the first day back, right? Just for your standpoint, yeah.
For me, or any, for the district, I don't think so. I mean, there's not a whole lot. If we have the the questions and things already preset and all of that before we head out for the holidays.
I was more asking specifically about you because you're the one who's going to do all the work.
Board members, what I just said is you're not going to get them till the 3rd, I think, also. Okay? Great. Reports, Dr. Miller. Item 10.02 is recognition of visitors. If anyone would like to address the board? Fantastic. The board will adjourn and meet in executive session to discuss negotiations. Thank you and good night, everyone.